Hi, and welcome to the 10-minute book talk where 4 best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes. I am joined today by my co-hosts, Marie Bostwick and Katherine Reay, and Melissa Ferguson, who isn't with us today, but usually is. And we are so excited because today we are doing the first ever 10-minute book talk book launch for our very own Katherine Reay's The Linden House. Can you hold up? Yay! Can you hold up the Linden House? So we are so excited about this book. Before Katherine and I were friends, I adored her writing and adored her books. And she is taking a leap into some historical fiction. And so Katherine, we are just going to do a little behind the scenes chat and drink our tea and learn a little bit more about The Linden House, which just released. So Katherine, take us behind the scenes of The Linden House. What do we need to know? What is this story?
Oh my goodness. This story is spies, betrayal, love, friendship, twin sisters, a family secret, high fashion in Paris in the 1930s. It's got it all. It is my first foray, as Rachel said, into historical fiction, and I loved every moment of it. I loved also having that historical moment be revealed through letters and diary entries so that it had relevance to the contemporary storyline. It was really important to me in a split time story. It was a ride for me. It really was. And
it takes place. So I got to read an early copy, and then Marie is currently reading it. And it is delightful. I called Katherine after I read it and just said, Katherine, it has all the things. It has poignancy and World War II and high fashion and Paris and London and twins and love. And I mean, all of it, intrigue, secrets, mysteries. It's clever. It's well written. It's just a great story. And so I'm really excited about it. And that is not a question at all. That was just
That's just gushing. We're gushing.
Great gushing.
Well, and I think it well deserves to gush because now I haven't finished the whole thing yet, but I have to say, so I'm actually going to read just like the opening paragraph because so prologue, October 17th, 1941. Carol hugs Martine, whispering close in her ear, "I won't be back. It's too dangerous. Christophe is a threat to you now. You must see that. He'll take his chance when he needs the money or the protection. He will turn you in. Scap will keep me safe." And there we are. I was reading this in the bathtub, which was a huge mistake because I ended up all pruny. I kept having to refill the water because you just drew me in, like you were like, boom, there are questions I want to know. There are these two characters, they're in danger and denial, and we're off to the races with that. So I just thought it was wonderful. So I got a question for you. I mean, like, did you purposely, your pacing is beautiful. Did you purposely pace it to make sure that I ended up in the bathroom?
Absolutely. I planned out every perfect beat. No, no.
I'm telling you, girl.
Part of it probably was, and I've told you all this again and again, I got addicted to spy novels during the pandemic. And quite honestly, they taught me a lot about pacing. I have always written character-driven novels. Spy novels tend to be more plot and paced. And it was sort of the merging of those two. They seemed to come together for me within this story. And I loved unfolding secrets. It was like, just like hiding things and revealing them here and there. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, it's like
right. That moment is sort of the climax of the story, is that prologue. And then, not to give anything away, but that moment is cut in half and you get the final revelation at the end. And so I really had so much fun with it.
I had many more long nights up past.
Not in the bath. Not in the bath.
Not in the bath.
Tucked up somewhere safe like bed. What kind of research did you do, Katherine? I know I keep seeing pictures of you over in England. I know you did it a while ago.
So I'll tell you, in February of 2020, I wanted to wait until April to go to England. I used to live there when I was in the early 2000s, but I needed some deep dive research, and I wanted to go in April of 2020. And my husband said, no, we have this long weekend. Let's go now. So we went February of 2020. And while he and our daughter went to Hamilton and went to great restaurants, I got the better deal. I had 2 days in the National Archives. I had a full day in the British Library, then the Imperial War Museum, and then the Churchill War Rooms. And it just came to life for me. All the SOE documents, which is the gentlemanly warfare, the ungentlemanly warfare, the spy network Britain started, it just all came to life. And without that trip, it wouldn't be the same book. And on the day we left, the newspaper reported the UK's first case of COVID. Like we'd never heard of it. And so it really was amazing that I got there. But you asked what was my favorite part of the research. And it really was the House of Schiaparelli, the fashion of the 30s, because it also told so much about the times. I mean, to have the unveiling of the circus collection, the height of escapism in 1938, it really kind of showed where the focus was. But there was one dress in particular, and I enlarged it for book talks last week when it launched. This is the lobster dress, very famous dress worn by the Duchess of Windsor. If y'all remember, she was Wallis Simpson, and King Edward VIII abdicated so that he could marry the woman he loved. Well, this dress, very provocative, designed by Elsa Schiaparelli, the lobster created by Salvador Dali. Dali wanted the lobster claws to snatch up at the Duchess. Schiaparelli said, no, way too provocative. She won the battle. The fan is here and the lobster claws reach down. Additionally, the center is transparent, also very provocative for 1938. The dress only weighed a pound. Okay, but here's the great story. The dress gets finished. The Duchess is coming in. It's the capstone of her trousseau. Salvador Dali shows up with a huge jar of mayonnaise. He intends to drench the entire dress in mayonnaise. I gather there was a huge fight. Schiaparelli said she would never work with him again if he did it. And considering they had other dresses after this, and the Duchess is not dripping from mayonnaise, he didn't get to do it. But isn't that a hoot?
That's a fascinating little insight. Yeah.
Fashion in Paris in the 30s.
Crazy fun stuff, though. So anyway.
That's so fun. Yeah. What was your very favorite part of this story?
Oh, my very favorite part was the relationship between Margaret and her twin sister, Carolyn. And that is where the mystery begins. And it's not exactly what happened, but it's how it was interpreted and misinterpreted. So you have these twins who are closer than anything, but secrets and perceptions and events tear them apart bit by bit until the threads are pretty frayed and misunderstandings can happen. And I think really digging into that relationship at a time of great tension, World War II, and the twins living in different countries, one in England, one in France, they were seeing different things. I loved diving into that. And one part I really loved is to make them feel organic. I hand wrote all of the diary entries and all of the letters before I committed them to typing. I usually type everything, but I wanted that true emotive feel. So all of those were handwritten first. And I think it really brought out their voices. Mm-hmm. So I love that relationship.
Often when I read Split Time, I will find that one of the stories is more intriguing to me than the other. And sometimes in Split Time, I'll just be like, yeah, come on. I want to get to that other thing. I thought you did a really good job from what I've read so far. I haven't finished the whole thing, of balancing both those stories, because you have a lot at stake for both Carolines. There seems to be a lot going on. So I don't know if that was really a question, but was that something on your mind when you were writing? Because we've all read a lot of Split Time, and I do think that sometimes that can be where it falls down.
Mm-hmm. Really, actually, thank you for asking that, because I agree with you. And it was so important to me to not only have agency and that ticking bomb feel, time was of the essence in both storylines. But that is one reason why I chose to do the past in letters and diary entries, because I wanted it to be real time relevant. I wanted the contemporary storyline to be able to act on knowledge learned immediately. Because I agree with you, there are often times where one or the other is just the vehicle to get me back to the storyline I like best. And I really wanted to weave these two so tightly that, they could not be pulled apart. And that was so purposeful. So thank you.
Yes, I thought, and a mark for me of a great book is when I still think about the characters after it's done. And I am still thinking about Carol. I'm still thinking, and the poignancy of the end, which I won't give away, but it was just powerful. And it was powerful when I read it in like third draft form, and I'm sure it's even more powerful now. And so well done, Katherine. We're so excited. Let's raise a little, we've got our tea. Let's raise a little toast and toast. So cheers to the success of the Linden House and another story out in the world.
Thank you.
I have to drink.
Thank you for sharing this with me today, friends. I've loved it.
Oh, we're so glad we got to share it with you. Our first book talk book launch, which is so exciting. So go pick up a copy of the Linden House. It's a great gift for the holidays, great gift for anyone who likes Paris, London, the 1930s fashion. I mean, who doesn't? It's like all the things. And we'll plan to see you next week. So next Wednesday, we will be back with Susan Meissner talking about her lovely novel, The Nature of Fragile Things. And that's all for now. So thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.